Hello, friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. All right, I got just a couple little errands to run today. One of the things I want to do is run over to the local FedEx place and get some copies of my resume and my references list printed out. One of the things I learned in the sessions I took over the past couple days was that that it's a good idea just to have some copies of your resume so that you can pass them out when you go to go in for interviews, and maybe have a couple spare copies in case they bring somebody else in. Oftentimes an interview will start with the HR department, and then there'll be a secondary interview that happens with maybe the particular manager of the department that you're going to work in. And so they recommended having copies of your resume and your references list, having multiple copies of those, so that if you ended up doing multiple interviews, you could give every person that you talk to their own copy of of the resume and references list. So I think what I'm going to do today is I've got those two documents put on a flash drive, and I'm going to run over and get some copies made. Maybe 10 or 20 copies of each, just so I have a few to work with. So let's go do that. Resumes are printed out, and I also hit the grocery store, picked up some essentials here, so I think we're good to go for a while. So I got back from getting my resumes and reference sheets printed out, and I decided I wanted to have like a day planner to carry with me when I go into interviews, so I can keep things like copies of the resume, and have a pen and paper, and try and make it look like I'm somewhat organized. I actually have one of these somewhere, but it's in a storage locker, and I could spend days digging through those storage lockers trying to find it and not. So I just decided it was easier to just go get a new one, and I think it looks pretty nice, so that'll look good. Also needed a stapler and some staples, because once again that's in the storage locker as well, and didn't know where I could find that either. I did try to do my best to mark the boxes, what was in them, but unfortunately the box doesn't list every single thing that's in it. It just kind of says general things, and so it might say computer desk upstairs or computer room bookshelf, but it doesn't specifically lay out what's in there. So once again, it just seemed to make sense just to go buy a new one. Can never have too many staplers, right? And a couple of nice pens as well. They're serving double duty right now. They're also covering up my name and address on the resume so I can show it to you. So let's get that all assembled and packed up. All right, 10 copies of my resume and reference list stapled together in the notebook, and a couple of pens just for good luck. I am ready. I think before I end this day, I'm going to make a trip over to the storage locker and pick up some more clothes. I have most of my clothes here, but there's one more bin in the storage locker that has a lot of dress clothes in it. And so far I have a couple of pieces of like casual business casual clothing here, but I've worn both of them already just to those seminars, and I actually had to double up the third day because I only actually have two semi-dress collar shirts in the house right now. So I think just so I have a little bit more variety to pick from, I'm going to go get the other storage bin. It's big, but I know where it is, and it should be relatively easy to get. So let's go. See what I mean when I said I had to get a second locker? This place is just packed to the gills, isn't it? I actually I probably could put stuff in this area here, but I wanted to, be able to get to the back, and if I fill in the whole walkway back here, then there's no way to get in here. So yeah, here's what I'm looking for here. These plastic bins. I guess I actually got two of them here, so let's try and get these out. This shouldn't be too terribly difficult. All right, so yeah, 5 minutes to get it in there. I'm already sweating like a pig. That's what this Texas heat will do to you. And it gets worse in here. This thing's like a hot box. They actually warned me at the beginning when I bought this thing, or when I rented this thing, that in the heat of the summer it can get to be 150 in here. I don't doubt that at all. Also found a couple other amusing things in the locker while I was digging for it. I didn't even know I had that. And a nice little beanie there. Oh yeah, a lot more t-shirts and stuff. I guess I wasn't aware I had that many t-shirts, but I guess I do. a couple of my tie-dyed shirts, so I guess that explains because I couldn't find all of them. Guess that's why. But it did do a little digging in the bottom, and what I'm looking for is way down in the bottom. So I think we're in good shape. So this is one of the treasures that was in that storage bin that I brought home. That is an authentic 48 star American flag that belonged to my grandmother, and she wrote that on it, November 11th, 1918, Peace Day. If you know your history, November 11th, 1918 was the day World War I ended. This flag is more than 100 years old. Belonged to my grandmother. I believe she said she told me she wrote that on there when she was about 7 years old. Very proud to own that. One of the advantages of having the storage locker as close as it is I can just go pick up things on a whim. I can say, hey, you know, I really need this, and I think it's in the storage locker, and I think I know where it is, so let's just go get it. It's been a couple days since I submitted the resume for that QA job that I'm very excited about, and I haven't heard anything about it. And I guess my natural instinct would be a little concerned that maybe they aren't interested in me. But also, I have to acknowledge that I got that lead from Indeed.com, and every day I get kind of a blanket email that lists all the jobs that they have for that day that they're looking for that I kind of fit the qualifications for. And I keep noticing that this QA job is still on the list. So that tells me maybe I just got to, keep my hopes up and keep going that way, because if they'd found someone to fill the position, I think that job would have disappeared off the Indeed list. So it's very likely that what's really going on is they're just collecting resumes right now and going through it, and they're going to wait until the end of the search period, whatever that is. They didn't define what that is, and then they'll pick the best candidates from everyone they have. So yeah, I don't think it's a dead deal by any stretch of the imagination, but I just got to learn that I've got to be patient with stuff like this and keep my options open and look at other things as well. So we'll just kind of play it by ear as we go along. Tomorrow I think I'm going to do another restaurant vlog. I haven't decided yet where to go, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't know, we'll look for something good. But for now, I think that's all I have for today. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.